your old self-care or your old meditations that you've done for years, you just don't really feel like it's doing anything. That's okay, honey. You're evolving. And I think that's actually a sign that you're at a new level in your spiritual journey where you don't need all those different modalities. I think when you're a beginner, it's fun, it's exciting, you're exploring. But when it gets to where it's just one more thing on your to-do list and it's not really resonating, it's not really moving you in any way, it's okay to drop it. Welcome to The Introverted Influencer, the podcast for the woman who's over getting advice from 20-year-old business coaches on Bali sabbaticals and seven-figure entrepreneurs who only share their wins. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke, blogger turned soulpreneur, mom of two, and a mentor for women done with the hustle. Here, sacred strategy meets feminine flow, and we expose what it really takes to build a business grounded in purpose, not trends. A brand that moves with your rhythm, not the algorithm, because you didn't leave your 9-to-5 grind just to build a shinier cage with your name on it. Well, hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to episode 92 of The Introverted Influencer. We are kind of coming to a close. Well, actually, no, we're not coming to a close. By the time you hear this, we'll be coming to a close on summer break, but I am still in the fucking thick of it, of being at home with my kids with no help whatsoever. My two boys, they are 9 and 11. Yeah, I started off with good intentions to have this soft girl, idyllic summer, to be all in my feminine and give my kids the best summer, fireflies and swimming in the pool and swimming in the lake and friends and well, reality has hit hard this week, y'all. So yeah, I kind of want to talk to you about where I'm at. And hopefully by me kind of just calling myself out, it maybe makes you feel less alone or less broken or less wrong. So here we go with some transparency, keeping it real. So it's gotten hot as hell. I live in the South, Tennessee, and our pool just went on the fritz. That was my lifeline this summer. So the whole deal, if you've been following along, was that I've always worked. I've always been a working mom, and I've always, during the summer, make sure that my kids have gone to a all season day camp, or they've gone to a Mother's Day out, a preschool, something, right? But my oldest is about to go off to middle school, and I kind of had this, I don't know if you call it a midlife crisis, but kind of watching him at his 5th grade promotion, it just kind of made me freak out a little about where has the time gone? And it made me kind of spiral into this guilt about me not being fully present for him, because I've always been more focused on my business. Although I love my children, it just, them being at home with me, I had created this life. First, it started off as freelance. As soon as the birth of my first son, I was able to start a pretty successful freelance marketing career setup. So I was able to stay home with him. And it was actually, I really enjoyed the first years when it was just him. But by the time my second child came along, it became way too much. And I was and I'd started my blog at the time, and I was still doing the marketing as well. And that's when I was just losing my fucking mind with two of them at home. I mean, I don't have family to help because all of my mom is never going to retire. My dad, he doesn't even live here. So we don't really have help. My husband works long hours. So I didn't do so well with that. And so from that point on, I'm no, kids are going to Mother's Day out, or I'm not dealing with all that. So I tried to kind of rectify that this summer, and it started off pretty well when it was just my older son. And we have had some good moments, and I know I've given him he told me he had the best summer this far. So that's cool. But then when my youngest son, he got out of his summer stuff, so he's been at home, and they've just fought the whole time. And now the damn pool, which was my lifeline, is on the fritz, and they can't swim the pool. And we can't get anybody to come out and help us. First world problems, I know. But anyhow, I want to talk about coping mechanisms, especially when you're kind of type A, you're biohacker like me. I work out in the gym, and then on the other end of it, I'm very spiritual, and like I have all these like meditation practices and like Kundalini yoga, and I heal my chakras, and then I'll do some kind of mantra for 30 minutes. And well, all that shit went out the window. Okay. And it kind of like had me freaked out of like, am I going to go off the deep end because I don't have all these modalities? Like I'm not doing the self-care as much because, the kids are all mine. I don't really have help. So, I'll do like a walk or a run around the neighborhood. I do kind of get to the gym just a few days a week, but nothing like what I'm used to. And my like spiritual practices, honey, what are those anymore? My meditation, I was having a conversation with my dad because he's into I got him into meditation and he's really into like gardening as well. And I think that's rubbed off on me. So I was telling him, I'm like, literally my idea now of meditation is watering my garden in the morning. I'm like trying to get up just a little earlier than my kids because my kids still get up early. I don't know what's up with that. But like if I can set my alarm for like 20 minutes before they get up, I just go outside with a cup of coffee and water my flowers. That is meditation for me. I wanted to just call myself out here because if you've like been an OG listener of this podcast, like I've had plenty of modalities that I've talked about and encouraged you to try. I haven't even journaled. Like that's been like a major one for me that has helped me so much, but I haven't even done that. So I just want to keep it real because I think when you get into this spiritual scene, when you're, getting into all these podcasts, YouTube videos, watching influencers on Instagram, you can start to feel like a piece of shit. Like, I'm not doing enough. Like, look at them. Like, they can cold plunge and then they can like meditate for 2 hours a day. But I've got to speak on behalf of the moms and the women out there. That's just, we're in a phase of life. I don't know where you're at in life, but sometimes you go through seasons where it's not entirely practical. And sometimes beating yourself up over not doing it just makes it even worse. So you kind of have to like be okay with where you're at. Quick pause, you beautiful soul. So if you've been vibing with this episode and you are building a brand, a blog, or even a brick and mortar business, I would love to support you in your journey. I am so freaking excited to announce that I am now offering one-on-one consulting for creatives and entrepreneurs who want to grow with their feminine flow, their soul essence, and are over the hustle, over the burnout, and done spinning their wheels on strategy that doesn't even fucking convert. To learn more about my offerings and to book something with me, head on over to introvertedinfluence.com. And now let's get back into it. And I just kind of want to like be kind of proof right now to you. I've meditated God since I had my spiritual awakening in like 2017. Yeah. So I've been doing Kundalini yoga plus meditation plus hypnosis plus neural reprogramming, all this shit since 2017. Okay. I haven't done it for 2 months now, all summer, and I'm still okay. The world hasn't crumbled. And I'm learning that we don't have to be so rigid in our practices, that legit just walking in the neighborhood is spiritual. Just like I said, being out in the garden, watering your flowers is enough. It really is. And in all actuality, I'm starting to realize that like being so rigid in those practices sometimes can keep us really blocked from these new downloads. So you got to just do what works for you. So this is just all to say, like, if you don't enjoy meditation, if you feel like you just can't get in the zone, that's okay. There's other ways to do this. Okay. Like I said, because I've been at both extremes and also kind of wanted to speak to these levels we're at. I don't know where you're at personally, but for me, I've been in this spirituality thing for so long, almost feel like I was just having this conversation with my sister. And I was like, I haven't been on social media in a while. It was very intentional of like me trying to be more present for my kids. But in another sense, it was also just like, I felt so consumed by it. It's just so much noise. And it starts out like, oh, I really like this person. I like their outlook on life, like in spirituality, or I like this person's style and I love what they do at their home. But you find yourself like in this rabbit hole for like an hour. You're like, oh my God, where'd the time go? And it becomes like, what I've realized is how much space that takes up as well. And I feel like when we're in those seasons where I haven't even really like been listening to podcasts, I really don't. And I think it's okay. I think that that's really a sign when everything starts to feel like just noise to you, like it doesn't resonate, or even when your old self-care or your old meditations that you've done for years, you just don't really feel like it's doing anything. That's okay, honey. You're evolving. And I think that's actually a sign that you're at a new level in your spiritual journey where you don't need all those different modalities. I think when you're a beginner, it's fun and it's exciting, you're exploring, and something may genuinely help you. But when it gets to where it's just like one more thing on your to-do list and it's not really resonating, it's not really moving you in any way, it's okay to drop it. And I think we can get in this like, oh, that means I'm not spiritual anymore. Maybe that means I'm going backwards. And it's just kind of like you're on the next level of this thing where actually you need less noise so you can receive your own downloads. And that helps you actually get closer to your own divinity where you don't need a guru. And that's a part of this new age of the Aquarius anyhow, is back in the Piscean age. It was like our spirituality was dictated by religion and churches and control to where you couldn't experience, they didn't want the masses to experience spirituality within themselves. They wanted us to outsource our power to religious and political authorities. So in a sense, it may just be not only a sign of your own evolution, but just a sign of the change of the times and the energies. And we don't need all of these things outside of us to experience spiritual downloads and spiritual growth. So this is your permission slip. If you're just not feeling it, if it's not resonating anymore, you're not broken, you haven't messed up. It doesn't mean you're going backwards, because that's I was really worried about that the first few weeks. And I've kind of just found my own groove, and I feel like I'm in a different phase, but I definitely feel connected to God. And at the very least, the only thing that I've been doing, it maybe takes me 10 minutes. When the alarm goes off, I just say a prayer and I just ask God, please, could you give me clarity? Could you give me certainty? And then I kind of go through a list, like, what does my body need today? What does my soul need today? What do my children need today? What does my business need today? What do my clients need today? What does my dog need today? What does my husband need? These things, and just give me clarity, give me certainty. And the first week or so, I felt like I was just kind of going through the motions, but it's pretty cool. The synchronicities I've experienced that really do reflect to me of the next step to take. So it's not some 1 hour meditation and then, a ceremony and then red light therapy and cold plunge and then hit the gym. It's none of that shit. And it's okay. It's easy to get caught up in all that noise when you're on the socials, but you do what works for you. You got to be your own guru, baby. And with that, I'm going to get back into probably yelling at my kids for fighting, because that's what they really like to do right now that they don't have a good outlet. And that's what I want to be for you. Enough of the bullshit, enough pretending, I've got it figured out and I'm high on the hill and I just look down at everybody else. And no, I'm done with that. And I'm done with those kind of thought leaders, influencers. If you can't show me your realness, that you have your own struggles, then I don't know that I trust you anymore. So I'm sorry if that was a tangent today, but that's just, I felt compelled to just keep it real with you and be very transparent, because I know that's what I would like. I want more of that in the world. So I don't feel broken and feel like a horrible mom or a horrible meditator or whatever. So I hope that was a permission slip for some of you. And I'm going to send you so much love, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We could keep on spreading the word about this podcast. And 2 ways you can help me out is by leaving me a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this episode on, or you can actually take a screenshot of this episode and tag me over on Instagram at Designing Vibes. And of course, I would love you to DM me whatever resonates, and I am sending you so much love.